There are many, many evidence-based practices. That's the great news, right? Is we've done so much research to actually show what works and what doesn't to make hiring decisions more objectively. And we use that phrase best person for the job on purpose and a little bit provocatively, frankly, because best is often in the eye of the beholder. It turns out it's not so straightforward or so easy to determine who is the best person. I'll give you one example, and this has a solution embedded in it. The format of the resume or the CV. The typical format asks candidates to list the position that they held and then the dates associated. So, management consultant, 2020 to 2024. Well, that design of the format makes experience gaps very salient. So if your previous job was from 2015 to 2018, and the next one started in 2020, it begs the question, what was happening in those 2 years from 2018 to 2020? Our colleagues ran an experiment with more than 9,000 firms in the UK, where they redesigned that format so that you would still list the experience you had, management consultant, and then the associated number of years, 4 years, instead of the exact dates. So you don't lose really any information, you just present it in a different way. And what they found is that, of course, this design makes career gaps much less visible. And in fact, both women and men were more likely to get called back for an interview under this new scheme because employers weren't distracted by looking at the career gaps, but were actually just focused on the skills and the experiences and the competencies that the candidates brought to bear. So this is one example of how our current hiring practices sometimes don't allow us to find the best person or the right person because we get distracted by considerations that shouldn't really matter. There's actually no evidence to suggest that someone with a career gap is going to have any worse performance on the job than someone with a continuous work history. So that's one example of a simple design change. Other ways that we can make hiring more objective: predetermining criteria and focusing those assessment criteria on skills rather than things like the name of the school that you went to or the field that you got your degree in or even the number of years of experience. We all know examples of people who, you've got two colleagues, each of them have done this job for 5 years. Does that mean that they're equally good? Bring the same set of skills? No, it doesn't. The length of experience tells you something, but it doesn't tell you everything. And there's a lot of beautiful research emerging showing that when we move away from these types of check the box qualifications to actually thinking about what are the things that are required to succeed in this role. What are the things that a person needs to be able to do, as opposed to what piece of paper do they have from an institution as evidence of a degree? We're able to make better matches between open roles and the people who fill them. So being more thoughtful about our criteria, making sure that they're unbiased and decided in advance.